Are you confused? You might be confused. That's okay. You're probably not as confused as I am. I'll explain tomorrow. For now, I'm gonna go home and take a shower. All right, so here we are. It's the next day. Let me explain why I was forced to pull the motor on the Evo 10. I could not sleep with myself knowing that this whole car needed love. Just gonna be honest with you guys. So I pulled the motor and the transfer case and the subframe, and we're gonna go through it all and redo everything. There's no way I can put a clutch and a trans back in this car knowing that it's this freaking disgusting everywhere. So that's why the motor's out, just to clean it. We're probably gonna do a little bit of like powder coat work here and there as well. I really want this thing like nice and mint. I'm not gonna go crazy with it. This of course is not a full restoration. This is gonna be like a, kind of like how we did Bobby's car, the 10. Just make it nice and clean, simple. Anything that's rusty we'll take care of. Anything that's filthy we'll replace, or like torn. The CV axles, for example, all 4 boots on the front CVs are leaking, just stuff like that. All that's got to be gone through and fixed and taken care of. So the first thing we need to do today, and I don't know how far we're gonna get today. My goal is to get the motor back in the car, but we have a long ways to go. Let's go ahead and get everything torn down. So the motor has to come off the subframe, which is gonna be pretty easy, being that there's no trans. And then of course the T-case just lifts out of there. And I don't know how much disassembly I'm gonna do on the engine. I guess just whatever we got to do to get it clean. You came to check out my Evo build?
God, that thing's crusty.
Yeah, that's why I took it apart.
Oh, I gotta get a better look at this.
Do you understand I completely disassembled the car to clean it?
Yes.
Is that dumb?
I wouldn't say dumb.
Look at how crusty that shit is.
That's probably like one of the worst ones I've ever seen. This car is hideous.
You know, Bobby, you say that now, but in about a week, 2 weeks when it's done, it's gonna be your favorite Evo I've ever built. I can almost guarantee it.
I believe you.
That's what we do here on the Devin Niemela YouTube channel. So here we have the entire long block cleaned up, left the turbo kit on. This thing came out really, really nice. A little bit of staining up in here from some CV axle grease that got caked on, and a little bit of corrosion here and there, but nothing bad at all. I'm very, very glad I ended up pulling this thing out. Valve cover is ugly. I do not like that color red, so we're gonna change that and a few other little things on the setup before it goes back in the car. But let me show you guys the trans. Trans came out nice, just like the engine. Same concept though, a little bit of corrosion, and then all that rusty hardware pisses me off. So I really need to get into zinc plating so we can get all that re-zinced, and that would look nice. T-case came out perfect. There's no corrosion on the T-case. I'm guessing it was replaced at one point in its life. Compared to the trans, it looks brand new. So we're gonna be recoating 3 things on this setup: intake manifold, the valve cover, compressor housing. here is the finished product of the powder coated parts. We ended up going with wrinkle black on both. I'm very, very excited for this. It should look super, super nice. Simple, clean, yet effective in the bay. I'm very, very hyped for it. So this color we just sprayed is called Splatter Black. It is Prismatic Powder's version of the wrinkle black, and it looks super nice. Definitely the nicest wrinkle black I've ever sprayed in my life. It lays out so flat, super nice, and I guess not flat, but like even would be the proper term for it. It's just a perfect wrinkle black. Now, of course, both of these parts being internal engine parts, you got to be careful. You have to be careful when sandblasting the intake manifold, because of course air goes through the manifold right into the engine. Can't have any sand going in there. And then with the valve cover as well, you guys saw that I already removed the baffles out of it and went ahead. Let me flip it over. It's a little bit warm. Baffles are out. All of the holes are drilled and tapped for a 1024 screw. And you have to 100% do this, my friends. If you're gonna do any valve cover work, you have to pull the baffles out. Sand does get trapped underneath the baffles, so you gotta pull them out and get everything cleaned up. And of course, we're gonna be Loctiting the screws in so they do not back out. I was initially gonna do the compressor housing on the turbo as well, this guy here, but being that all the intercooler piping, the intake pipe, and now the valve cover and intake manifold, all that's black, I don't wanna overdo the black. If we want this black later on, it's what, 6 bolts to pull off, and we can go ahead and get it powder coated then. Before we do anything else, I do want to go ahead and get the whole engine bay cleaned up on this thing. So I'm going to do it while it's on the lift. Makes life a little bit easier, allows you to get underneath the car and above and whatnot. Let's get her degreased, pressure washed, and drying. Then we can move on to some other engine stuff and get it ready to drop in. We got the underside of this thing looking absolutely phenomenal. Super, super clean. Calipers are in good condition. Here's the whole underside of the bay. Went ahead and pressure washed all the wiring. It's so damn warm outside, it all dries in like 10 seconds right now. We did the entire engine bay, the entire underside of the car, including everything in the rear. Everything in the rear checks out pretty nice. CV axles and all that, no torn boots like there was up front. So super excited for that. She's nice and clean. So I know the goal today was to get the engine trans and transfer back in the car, but being that this was such a last minute decision, we pulled the engine and everything out, and especially like the powder coating that we just did, very, very last minute. Of course, I do not have gaskets here, and I definitely prefer to get everything in the car complete. So I did go ahead and overnight some gaskets that we need, and then hopefully tomorrow they'll show up and we can get the engine back in the car. But for now, what we can do is install the valve cover, or I guess just set it on there. Hold up, Bobby's calling.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Hoss.
What's up?
Where are you?
My shop?
Are you ever gonna come home?
Sure. And we can set on the intake manifold and see how it looks. See if there's any other splatter black parts we should do. Well, there she is assembled. That's a lot of black going on. Tempting to do like the thermostat housing, but then I feel like if we do that, we might as well do something with the head. All right, what do you guys think? Is that enough black, or should we keep going? That'd be easy to do. That'd be easy to do. Throttle body, I don't know, I've never had one apart. That might be pretty simple to do. Drop a comment below, let me know what you guys think. It's been a long, hectic 2 days with this thing, so I'm gonna wrap up today's video right here. If those gaskets show up tomorrow, we can get the entire drivetrain back in the car because the clutch did arrive like we were waiting for. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I will see you guys in the next video.